Howdy cruisers, and welcome to today's edition of Under the Covers Cruise with yours truly. Somebody commented on a previous episode, and oh, by the way, take some time now, go ahead, like and subscribe to the video. Subscribe to me so you can watch all the future videos. Okay, now that that's done, wanted me to talk about seasickness. I thought this was something pretty interesting for me to talk about, mostly because I don't get seasick. I've never gotten seasick, except one time. We'll get to that. But I understand that it is a concern for a lot of new cruisers. So here's my perspective on this. I really have no advice to give you other than do follow the recommendation to start taking whatever precautions you plan to take before the cruise. And it doesn't have to be that far before the cruise. Even if you just start taking the pills or whatever, or the patch, do it before you leave the hotel or your house on embarkation day, because it is much better to be pre-prepared for the eventuality of seasickness and not get it than to deal with it once it has started. So whichever method you choose, start doing it before you get on the cruise ship, and it will turn out much, much better. If you do get seasick on the ship, most cruise lines, I think, still will give you some of the basic types of meds just from customer service. You don't need to go down to the infirmary or the medical center to get these. That just kind of, it's pretty basic stuff. They hand it out, so that is always an option. So let me tell you, I say I don't get seasick, and I really don't, except for one time. One time, I was out diving somewhere, Key Largo, Marathon, somewhere around there. And it was it wasn't a very large boat, but it was a group dive experience. And the waves were pretty bad. Well, where we were, they were pretty bad, like 3 to 4 feet. And the boat wasn't large enough to really calm it down. And normally this wouldn't bother me. I've been out there and worse on my own boat, and I'm totally fine, except this one time. I got out of the water. I was, sorting out all my gear, and I hear that sound people make when they are sick, and that kind of set me off. Yes, it did. And I was like, oh boy. And then she proceeded to, thankfully, over the edge. But I'm sure a lot of you have been in this situation. You're totally fine until somebody else experiences something. Yeah. Not very pleasant. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to breathe, pretend it never happened. And yes, I was fine. Once the boat got moving, then totally fine. But it's the only time I have ever felt any kind of seasickness. So what I want to, I want to let you know that there is another outcome. You might not get seasick. I hope you don't get seasick. You might experience sea wellness, the emotion in the ocean, which we would all enjoy from time to time. But the motion of the ship, I find very relaxing, very enjoyable. It is like, you know what? My favorite cruise, or one of my favorite cruise experiences, was sleeping on Norwegian Encore, the inaugural transatlantic, because that was mid-December, through the North Atlantic, through some nice big waves, and I had a forward-facing ocean view. You could watch the waves crash over the bow, but there was a lot of motion, up and down, and up and down. And every night I slept so well. It was like I was sleeping like a nicely swaddled, well-fed, and well-boozed up baby. It was incredible. So you might experience the same thing. You might like the rocking of the ship. You might think of it as being, back in the cradle. You might not have a problem walking through the corridors. I actually found it kind of fun. The ship was moving so much that if you kind of got a running start and jumped, I wasn't weightless, but it was a very odd feeling to be able to jump further than you normally would. And, I find that to be very relaxing. So I will always choose the most forward stateroom that I can get, particularly if I expect bad weather. I know, very weird for some people to say that, but you know what? I don't know how you could figure this out other than booking a North Atlantic crossing in the winter, but you might not get seasick. You might experience sea wellness and get some of the best sleep of your life. Yeah, go turn the temperature all the way down, get wrapped up under the covers. Yes, and enjoy the rocking of the ship and enjoy that motion in the ocean. All right, so yeah, if you want me, if there's anything else, that we could chat about or I can share my experiences about after you subscribe, go ahead, leave it in the comments below, and maybe sometime soon we will talk about it under the covers.